Hi, and welcome to the first episode of Insider Secrets. Insider Secrets is a program that goes beyond what promoters are doing with the stocks of the companies. Now, when a promoter buys or sells his own stock, there's got to be a reason behind it. Either the company is expecting good news, or the company is expecting bad news, or the company is selling stock to a strong investor, for example, when he sells. So we don't know what could be the motivation behind the promoter selling or buying the stock. But our job is to dig information, dig data, and try to form go through facts and try to form an opinion of what could be the reason why he's buying the stock. Right? So this is what Insider Deals Secrets is all about. And this is a weekly show. I'll see you guys also next week. So now let me start this week's episode. A textile company that's priced in single digits, around 8 rupees, and the promoters have bought 8.8 crore shares in the last few months. That's a huge volume. Dusra, I'm going to keep this in English, okay? Alternating between Hindi and English. Telecom company, जिसने बहुत स्कैम देखे थे in the past, बहुत स्कैम देखे थे, लेकिन अब स्टेबलाइज्ड है, और इसके प्रोमोटर्स ने 2.2 करोड़ शेयर खरीदे हैं 15.5 रुपए में in the last 1 month, एक महीने में 2.2 करोड़ शेयर. क्या हो रहा है पता नहीं, हम पता लगाएंगे. और तीसरी फ्रेग्रेंसेस, FMCG एंड बायोटेक कंपनी, सर्विसेज कंपनी. बायोटेक सर्विसेज इन द सेंस कि अगर हिंदुस्तान लीवर को कुछ साबुन बनाना है विद अ स्पेशल फ्रेग्रेंस और स्पेशल केमिकल, तो इनको टेस्टिंग दे देगा. सो दैट्स बायोटेक सर्विसेज, FMCG बायोटेक सर्विसेज. ठीक है, इन्होंने 38 लाख शेयर लिए एट एन एवरेज प्राइस ऑफ 82 जून 2020 से. ठीक है, ये 3 कंपनी हम आज एक्सप्लोर करेंगे. तो लेट अस स्टार्ट. व्हाट इज द फर्स्ट कंपनी? राइट, द फर्स्ट कंपनी जो टेक्सटाइल कंपनी है जिसकी मैं बात कर रहा था, दैट इज ट्राइडेंट. द प्रोमोटर्स हैव बॉट 8.8 crore shares between 6 and 7 rupees. This information is available on BSE, NSE, all over the place, right? You can see they have purchased acquisition from here. They started from July. Like 3-4 months they've been buying, and they bought huge. See, this is, net 2.4 crore shares they bought over here. The Trident Group, they started buying from July, and then bang, 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 bang. They have been buying the stock since a long time. So I decided to find out what it is, but before I explain why they are buying or try to investigate why they are buying, पहले पता करते हैं कि इनकी बिजनेस क्या है. ठीक है, ट्राइडेंट बिजनेस है यार्न, होम टेक्सटाइल बनाते हैं, टॉवल्स, कर्टन्स वगैरह वगैरह, बाथरूम टॉवल्स, यार्न, paper to a smaller extent, chemicals to a smaller extent, energy to a smaller extent. Energy is renewable, which is an upcoming field. And the company also has started, making this PPP equipments, PPP suits, masks, stuff like that. So this is what the company is into. So अब हम पता करेंगे. Now I dug around and I tried to find out why the company is buying its own stock. So here's what I found. The first could be, that global firms are looking to shift from China to India. This buzz has started after coronavirus hit the shows. It has started in April. Okay, we don't know the status as of now, but all I'm saying is that this could be a possible reason why the company is buying. Maybe they have more. Obviously they have more information than you and me, right? So they are if they have information that China's people are, global firms are looking to shift to India, they will do something. Maybe that could be the reason. We don't know. I'm just guessing. Maybe, may not be. Okay. The second reason is that the government is to soon unveil a new textile policy. This report has come on 2nd October 2020. Right? So, in this report, you can Google it. You can Google both the items and you can read it. You can Google for the exact words and you come across the news items. In this new textile policy, one of the things I read was they would be giving a lot of incentives. So it is possible that Trident knows something about this, is aware that something of these lines are there, because these guys continuously keep talking to the government for many things. And it's possible that Trident knows more than you and me, and that is why they are buying. So these are the two reasons why Trident could be buying their own stock. So what about the Trident's fundamentals? Trident's fundamentals. Okay. So a book value of 6 rupees, a common market price of 8 rupees, current market price of 8 rupees, looks fairly valued. Profits have reduced in Q2 2020, and I think that is the story of all the companies because of COVID, except for the tech companies which are doing really well. Okay. Now, it has been, if you look at the cash flow statements of the last several years, from 2010 to 2020, it has always reported positive operating cash flows. It's a positive sign. Okay. Now, another sign that I've seen is that from 2017, it has started reducing debt. Now, with that, if it is going to reduce debt, so it's going to be a lean and agile company. So that is why the promoters may be buying, because a lot of favorable tailwinds are coming. The company is getting leaner, so the promoters may be bullish about it. I don't know whether that will prove true or it will not prove true, but this could be the reasons. I may be right, I may be wrong, but this is something, a company that you should study. You should study the fundamentals and then go on to form an opinion whether it makes sense to believe me or not. Okay, so that's the first company. And now we'll move on to the second company. So, welcome back. We are now on the second company, right? And that is Himachal Futuristic Communications Ltd. I'm sure all of you would have heard the name, and it's had its fair share of controversies. It was involved in some operators. Since then, it's cleaned up its act and seems to be doing okay these days, going by the financial record, by the balance sheet and the profit and loss account. So what I came across was that these guys, the promoters of Himachal Futuristics, they picked up between September and October, within 1 month, they picked up more than 2 crore shares. That's more than at 15.5 per share. That is something like 33 crores. So there's got to be a good reason for them to pick up the shares. So I decided to find out what it was. Before discovering what it was, I checked around and their business model and saw that they have these optic fiber cables which are in vogue these days. Telecom equipment बनाते हैं, like microwave radios, electronics बनाते हैं for telecoms, and batteries. Batteries, as you know, that's a very hot field these days because renewable energy, telecom में batteries लगती है, so that's a powerful field, and they have their own telecom networks. And if I recall correctly, they are managing somewhere in in some northeast states, they are managing that they have their own telecom networks, which is great, you know. And then they have the railways telecom, and they are into smart cities. Okay, I think, but most of it is it's a telecom play, and these days because of COVID, everyone is inside their homes, and data consumption is on a high. So telecom play or telecoms are in demand. That telecom services are in demand. That's what I mean to say. So it's not just here in India; it's all over the world. Okay, in fact, in US and all Europe, huge companies like Ericsson, you know, and SmartLink, they are doing fantastic, right? So why could these guys be buying their own stock? There's got to be a good reason for that. So I checked around. I found 5 reasons. Okay, 4 I've got them documented here. 5th I'll tell you orally. One is it's bagging a lot of orders these days. This is just one clip that I've put over here, but it's bagging a lot of orders. You can Google all this, whatever I'm telling you. HFCL bags order. You click Google that, you will get the results, right? Then they had their own, they had their problems with SEBI about some GDR price manipulation, old stuff, 2002 stuff. Like I mentioned to you earlier, these guys have cleaned up their act. Okay, so they have settled that case, which is a positive development. अगर आपके पास कोई problem हो और अगर problem अच्छी तरह settle कर दो, तो आपको भी अच्छा लगेगा ना. So this is one more reason, right? Now there's a move away from China, Atmanirbhar Bharat. You would have heard about it. So many Indian telcos are interested to replace their foreign equipment with HFCLs. That's what it says. This could be another reason, right? The 4th reason is that it's acquiring a lot of companies. They are into 5G and wireless, stuff like that, futuristic stuff. So these 4 could be the reason. The 5th reason, which I will not elaborate on here, is that it could be a investment target of a bigger listed player. But that is something you Google and find out. Okay, I'm not listing it as a reason. I'm just informing you. You Google it. Okay, and this could be the reason. Let's now check what's happening with the company's financials. Right now, the book value is 13, and the current market price is 17 rupees. It looks fair, right? Profits have improved in Q2 2020. Right? Now let's look at the profits. If you look at the profits, the revenues have jumped. Year on year, their revenues have jumped 14.7%, but quarter on quarter, it's gone up 61%. That's a big number. If you are saying from Q1 to Q2, there's a jump of 61%, it shows you the extent of recovery, not in the economy, but in the telecom sector. This is huge, 61%. The EBITDA quarter on quarter has grown 279%. Also huge, right? Of course, it can't match up the year on year growth, because last year things were better than what they are today. Okay, so year on year I'm not interested much in comparing, but quarter on quarter it does appear that the performance is improving. Even the net profits have improved quarter on quarter by 147.45%. That's a good feel. Okay. Now, telecom companies are expected to do very well in the post-COVID era. More data consumption, work from home, things like that. More higher electronic sales, people. More adaptation of the millennials to telecoms, to smaller devices. All that is happening. I'm sure you are aware about it. It's happening all around us. And the thing is, and the last plus point is, the company has started reducing debt since 2017. So the fundamentals, the COVID, the debt reduction, the bagging of orders, the acquiring of companies, the better performance, All this could be the reason why the management is buying, but we don't know. This is something that we can guess. So these are my guesses, and now after this, we now are going to head into the third company, and I'll be back with you after this break. Thanks. We now head to the third company, which is HFCL Ltd. I'm unsure if you have heard about the name HFCL Ltd. It's a low-key stock, but it is backed by the private equity firm Blackstone. Blackstone is a very reputed equity firm, and it's backing HFCL Ltd. So what is happening in HFCL Ltd is that it's been, the promoters have been buying since the last few months. Okay, they have picked up 38 lakh shares, and like I said, as always, you can always go to the BSE site and you can check what's going on. But right now, the figures that I'm getting is that they've been buying since March 2020. I mean, that's pretty good, Not just the promoters, even the managers, the designated person. They've been buying since March, and we don't know when it's going to end, because the last purchase was on 28th of September. We don't know what's going to happen. So let's see what the company does. Okay. Now HFCL Ltd will be known as Keva, right, in the future. Okay. This is their This is their brand name, Keva. What does it do? HFCL Ltd makes food flavors. It makes fragrances. Then it has used its expertise in foods and fragrances, in food flavors and fragrances, to create its own FMCG brand, which I am guessing is called Keva. Okay, right now on the exchanges it is still listed as HFCL Ltd, but it's possible that the name will change going forward. It also, offers services, in the sense, like biotechnology research center, it's got its research service, cosmetic research service, cosmetic testing laboratory. So, for example, if FMCG company wants to develop a soap or a food product, it will come to HFCL Ltd and tell them, okay, look, you suggest the right mix, the right flavoring mix, and the right smell, or the right chemicals for it. And HFCL Ltd will provide the service for them. Okay, so this is what HFCL Ltd does: foods, flavors, FMCG, services. It has got 4 verticals, and one of the verticals, Keva, has yet to take off. That's the FMCG vertical. So they bought 38 lakh shares. They are into, the FMCG, foods, flavoring, fragrances. Let's see why the management is buying. Okay. Now, one reason is that the company is reducing its debt. It has started reducing debt. I will show you the figures in the next slide, from the last year. Okay. And that is a good sign for investors. Debt is always an overhang, and interest is always a killer. Therefore, when a company is making good, genuine efforts to square up its debt, it's a good signal. Now, whether that signal will come true or not, we don't know. These are the facts. And whatever I told you about reducing of debt is a general market principle. It doesn't mean that it is HFCL Ltd is going to do brilliantly going forward. I'm not saying that. I'm just reporting the facts to you. Okay. The second reason is that the company has reported a very strong business update. After quarter 2, that's the June 30th quarter. It's expecting good numbers going forward. All companies say that. But what investors should keep in mind is that the COVID problem is not over. We are getting into the winters, and that is the flu season in India. You know, the weather will change suddenly and the flu will strike us. So, people can mistake flu to be COVID, COVID to be flu. We don't know what mess is going to happen. Therefore, whatever company is saying, we got to take it with a pinch of salt. Okay, we got to do our own research. And what our research says is that the company management is buying the stock. It expects to do well. It's got good pedigree backed by Blackstone. And it's in a good field of fragrances, flavors, which can benefit very well from Atmanirbhar Bharat theme. So you can, in that sense, you can also call this an Atmanirbhar stock. Okay. So I would say that this is a stock that you need to keep on your watch list, because it says it's got a lot of promise, but we don't know whether the promise will become a reality. Now let's have a quick look at its fundamentals. I'm sorry, I made a mistake over here. The book value is 58. The current market price is around 88. So just forgive me for this. Okay. Now, the quarter 2 2020 profits were down. And that's natural because there was a COVID. I mean, COVID is impacting all industries. But the business update was strong, as you saw from the previous slide. Now, whatever I'm telling you, whatever you are reading here, it is upon you to Google it and check for yourself whether whatever is being said here is being said by others as well. So, by newspapers as well. That's what I mean. So please do your own checks. It is from 2010, from 2012. Sorry, not 10. 2012. It has been reporting consistently positive operating cash flows. It has consistently reported positive operating cash flows. And the cash flows have increased recently in March 2020. This is pre-COVID. Okay. Cash flows will come down in this year. But whenever a company generates a positive operating cash flow, it's a good sign. So, these are good signals about HFCL. The other thing I told you that it has started reducing debt. See, it's paid 196 crores last year, and it's paid something this year as well. Okay, that has not been captured in this data because this is up to March 2020. So, HFCL, or shall we call it KEVA, the promoters may be buying because they expect strong business, strong international business. Okay, because it operates on an international level. Okay, and they are into a promising field. They may benefit from Atmanirbhar Bharat, and things like that. So, typically we are coming to the end of the show. Now we got our three companies. We go back. We got our three companies. That is, your Trident, your Hindustan Futuristic Communications, and your HFCL. Right? These are three companies where the promoters are buying into their own stock. I've discussed all the reasons why they could be buying, why they need not be buying. Now, this does not mean that because they are buying, the companies are going to do well. But it's a positive signal. So I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to catch you next week. Thank you for viewing this episode, and I hope that you will follow me on Twitter at the rate of the Bulbul, and I hope to see you again next week. Thanks for viewing, and goodbye.